Hi, I'm Angus, and this is week 14 and indeed the 14th video in my weekly series of videos exposing corporate greenwashing and bringing you tips on how to reduce your carbon footprint. This week I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. Actually, it's a lot different. I'm actually going to be cooking for you. Cooking for you, cooking for me and my girlfriend actually. But let me explain the reason I'm doing this. One of the main contributors to global warming, to greenhouse gases, is our meat-based diet. So one of the things I'm trying to do is to reduce the amount of meat that I actually eat. And this is tough for me because I'm a salad dodger. I've never particularly cared for vegetables. You know, my parents used to think there was something wrong with me because I would literally throw out anything green from my high chair. So this is a tough one, but what I've been trying to do is experiment with different sorts of meat substitutes. So I tried corn, I don't know how you say it, corn mince a couple of months ago, and it's actually really quite good. And then I stumbled across something called a TVP Mince. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to cook spaghetti bolognese using TVP Mince. I've no idea how it's going to go. I've never used it before, but what I have done is I've been online, I've read up lots of stuff about it, and I think I know how to do it. So anyway, that's what we're going to do today. And if you are like me and you are looking to make some changes and to reduce your carbon footprint, eating less meat is a really good way of doing it. And if I can do this, then you can do this, he says with confidence. I have no idea what this is going to taste like, but stick with me. Let's go. So roll our sleeves up and make this thing happen. The nights are drawing in. It's the beginning of November and it's time for comfort food. Comfort food. And what better comfort food is there than spaghetti bolognese? Everybody loves spaghetti bolognese. But will my girlfriend this evening enjoy spaghetti bolognese not made with beef mince, but with TVP mince? It actually stands for textured vegetable protein. And doesn't it look yummy? I've never used it before, but I'm using an age-old family recipe going back generations, a bolognese recipe. I'm going to substitute the beef mince for TVP mince, and we're going to see how well it turns out. What you have to understand about TVP mince before we get started, I read up quite a lot on this, and TVP mince has absolutely no flavour, and all the bad reviews I've read about it are all people who have cooked it thinking it's like beef mince, and it's not. What you need to do is you need to infuse the flavours in. So what you do is you get all the sauces, all the flavours, and then you put in the mince, and it soaks up all those flavours. But really, if you are a vegan, it's probably best to look away now, and I'll explain what I mean by that. I did a video a 3 weeks ago, and I was talking about computers and the rules of computers, and this is another computer rule, and it's the software rule. And what they say with software is never put two pieces of software on your computer at the same time, because if your computer breaks, you don't know which bit of software has broken your computer. And so it is with TVP Mince. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use all the ingredients I would normally use and just substitute the mince. So there will be meat in this. So first we're going to chop up 2 onions. I'm going to put my glasses on for this so that the onion does not sting my eyes as much. And also I'm going to wet the knife. I don't know whether you know this trick, but it does work slightly. It stops you crying quite so much when you're cutting the onions, which is a really good idea. I'm going to take 2 carrots. I'm going to use 2 carrots. And I think it's important with carrots is you shouldn't peel them. They need a wash, obviously, but don't peel them because most of the goodness is actually on the outsides. So it's best not to peel them entirely. It's definitely best not to peel them entirely. There we are, 2 carrots. And then we're going to use the celery sticks, 2 celery sticks. Okay, and then we're going to have 2 cloves of garlic here. And what I've got, what I love to use, it just gives a certain, what's it? A je ne sais quoi. It's smoked garlic, and this stuff is lovely, really lovely. And what we're going to do, we're going to put, I think, yeah, we'll put a couple of 3 of these in. Obviously you can't smell this on camera, but it's beautiful. It really does have a lovely, oh, I can hardly wait. I love this bit. I love the smells of, oh, the rosemary is beautiful, really beautiful. So they can all be mixed in together, so it's all going in. This is all going to go in at the same time. The first thing we actually put in the pan is the bacon, and this is where we break the rule of 2. 2 sticks of celery, 2 carrots, 2 onions, and well, we already broke the rule of 2 with where we put 4 bits of garlic. So forget the rule of 2. There is no rule of 2. But what we're going to do now is we're going to cut up this bacon. I'm going to actually leave the little bit, there's not a lot of fat on it. If there's a lot of fat, I'd cut it off, but there's a little bit of fat, and it actually adds a little bit of flavour to the whole thing. And this is smoked bacon. You really want to have smoked bacon, just to give it that little smoky feeling, that little smoky taste. As I say, vegans, look away now. But there is a method to this madness. You know, I'm trying to reduce, the reason I'm doing this is because I am trying to reduce my carbon footprint, and I know one of the ways that you can do that is by not eating meat or as much meat. So this is a start for me. You know, I'm a lifelong meat eater, almost a carnivore. So to be doing this, it's a process and it's a start. So don't judge me too harshly. I don't think I can become a vegan overnight. I'm not sure if I'll ever become a proper vegan, but you have to start somewhere. So this is where I'm starting. I haven't actually eaten a beef burger since since we did the video on the blind vegan burger taste test. I just haven't had a need. You know, if we've had barbecues, I'll always have a vegan burger, always. It's an easy win for me, you know. So cooking with less meat is what I'm trying to do today, not with no meat. I'm not saying that's not the eventual aim, but it's the software analogy. If I go the whole hog today, I won't know what I don't like if I don't like it. You know, if it tastes great with this new stuff, then maybe next time I can try substitution for bacon, something else. You know, who knows? One of the things I'm going to do today, which is something I have added recently to this recipe that's been handed down through generations of my family, is to put some spinach in there as well. which I do by actually liquidizing spinach with the chopped tomatoes, and well, it adds a really aromatic flavour, and I'm really quite excited to see what that's going to do when these TVP mince things soak up those flavours. I think it's going to be beautiful. I really do think it's going to be beautiful, and it's really going to add to it. The spinach is a nice touch. So let's put some olive oil. Big healthy lump of olive oil in there. Stick it in. Sound like bloody Jamie Oliver now. And then while that is cooking, I'm going to add some mushrooms. I'm going to chop up some mushrooms. So just get that a little bit of a mix about. Low heat to begin with, and you can smell that lovely olive oil. It's Biona olive oil, and I'm not being sponsored by Biona. They are a really ethical brand. I buy a lot of the stuff I can afford from Biona. If I can afford it, I buy it, and the Biona olive oil is really lovely. You can smell it. It's actually beautiful and very good, Biona. Because these are going to go in next. So I'm literally going to chop these up and fling them in while the bacon's already cooking. And you can see everything here is in one pot. It's all in one pot. And what that means is, you know, like when you're cooking for your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, your wife, your children, your parents, your grandparents, you don't have to ask them to do too much washing up afterwards. Grandparents don't like having to do the washing up afterwards. So it's all in one pan. Really easy, really, really simple. Now what I'm also going to do is I'm going to throw into that some celery salt. And I'm going to put that in now. And what this will help it do is really get some, you know, some strong flavours in there, because I like to cook with celery salt. I use it a lot, but on this I'm going to use it a little bit more because I want to make really sure that that TVP mince has lots of lovely, lovely flavours in it. So there we go, a good healthy teaspoonful. I'm also going to throw in a chilli, and I'm going to get that in at this stage as well. And it just gives just a little bit of heat. You don't want too much heat. You know, this is Bolognese sauce. If there's any Italians watching this, they'll probably be, well, and I like to keep the seeds on as well because they're the bit with the heat. So one of the real staples of my pantry, well, it's a cupboard really, of my kitchen cupboard is tinned tomatoes. I use a lot of tinned tomatoes in a lot of things I cook, and so here we are, and I think they're essential. And actually, as you can see, these are essential tomatoes. And I'm not sponsored by these people. I use them not because they've got a great taste necessarily. They do actually have a really, really great taste, but because they score so highly as an ethical brand. And I can't buy them locally, so when I buy them I tend to buy, you know, a lot at a time, which is why I have a lot here. I'm not entirely crazy. So here we go. I'm going to take 2 of those for the moment. That should be enough, but I may well put in another tin. Let's see how we go. So here we go. Let's get the spinach, and you'll see the spinach I've actually got. It's in a plastic bag. And I did a video on this actually some time ago when I did Plastic Free July, because I could not and cannot buy spinach locally anywhere that's not in one of these plastic bags, and they're unrecyclable as well. So we can put a load of spinach in here. Okay, we can literally top it up, and you'll see it'll go to almost to nothing. I'm not going to use all of it, but I'm going to use a lot of it. So that's going to go in there, and in we go in there, and then this becomes the basis of our sauce and of our flavours. You can see all the flavours coming together now, and this is really, you know, let's just pour that in there. It's going to be really difficult, I think, with this particular mince if I under-flavour it. So I'd rather over-flavour it than under-flavour it. And that is it. That is going to give us all the flavour into our TVP mince, along with the onions and the celery and the carrots and the rosemary and the garlic. Oh my God, it sounds so exciting. Oh, I can hardly wait. But look at that, doesn't that look lovely? Look at that. And look at those mushrooms, look at that, it's beautiful. What we're now going to do is we're going to put all this lot in. Okay, all of it. And you can see it's still a little bit high there. Let me just turn it down a bit. Yeah. You don't too high. We don't want to burn anything. We're just trying to get all the flavours out of everything here. See, so normally, if you're cooking with beef mince, the next thing I'm going to do after this is to put the beef mince in. But with this, we're not going to do that. We're going to put the sauces in first, so that we've got, so all that liquid is going to be soaked up by the TVP mince. So let's just let that cook through for a minute. So we're definitely going to need a couple of bay leaves as well. So let's put these over here. They're from the garden actually, so that's wonderful. A couple of bay leaves here, so that we don't forget them. And then of course, and I'm sorry vegans, we're going to have to use a beef stock cube. It's just the way it is today. And we're also going to add some basil. It's better with fresh basil. I didn't buy any, so I'm having to use some dried basil. So I'm going to put a teaspoon of dried oregano and a teaspoonful of dried basil in here as well. So those are my next lot of ingredients there. They're all ready to go. And let's just give this another stir. And you really can smell that now. It's lovely. It's got a really lovely smell coming from it. This is probably several meals here. This isn't just one night. So this is a really economic way to cook. And I'm working on the assumption here, and I couldn't find any information on it, that with the TVP mince, because it absorbs the flavours, 250 grams should be about 500 grams of normal beef. So, well, we're going to find out, I guess, in time. I did actually reach out to these people and ask them about the fact that this comes in plastic. And they have come back with a very long, detailed, caring email. And I'm going to ask them if it's okay to actually put that on the in the description as well. So hopefully they'll say yes, and I will. They seem like a really switched on company. Solar power, I mean all sorts of things. They're very switched on. And look at that, that is beautiful. I love cooking with wine. I really love cooking with wine. And sometimes I even put it in the food. So here we go. Let's pour a little bit of this in. And again, I think there's something about just the smell of the wine when you put it in. And I want lots of liquid in this, much more liquid than I would normally use. Okay, and then I'm going to fling the bay leaves in as well now. So we got that, we got that, we got that. Let's give it all a mix in. And that already looks good enough to eat. Let's pour that in there. And there you go. Now we have something pretty serious. So we're going to mix all that up. Have it on a low heat. And this is where I'm into the unknown. I'm into the unknown now. Normally I would have put the beef in by now, You put the beef in before you put the liquid. But with this, we're doing it the other way around. So let's put this in. So here we go. TVP mince. There she is. Let's stick her in. It does look horrible. It really does look horrible. Look at it. I hope it tastes good. Right, I'm just going to really put that on a slow cook, and I'm going to put another tin of tomatoes in there as well, and I may even go for a third one. We'll see how it goes. If it all soaks all this up, that's what I want to do. Is I want it to soak up all those flavours. You know, those beautiful, lovely flavours. I think it's going to be quite something. I hope it changes the colour as well. I think I'm going to leave it like that for the minute. So we've got pretty much everything going in there right now. Okay, I'm going to put that on a really low heat for the moment, and I'm just going to let it slowly come to the boil. Now at this time I don't want to reduce it at all, so I'm going to I'm going to pop this on and have that on the lowest heat that I've got, and we're going to leave it 10-15 minutes. I'm going to go and check my emails. Okay, let's look at where we are. Let's look at where we are. Oh, I tell you what, it looks like beef. That has soaked up everything. That's amazing. We're going to put some more essential tomatoes. Okay, now I'm going to put in some tomato puree as well, just because I've got a little bit left over here. So the most expensive thing that's gone in here today is probably the wine, but it's sort of it's a leftover wine, you know, of the last couple of 3 weeks, to be honest, where you don't drink the whole bottle, and rather than throw it away, I sort of just keep it to one side, and that's what we're dealing with here. So now I'm just going to leave that to simmer. So what I was trying to do before was to make sure that the TVP mince was taking in as many of the flavours as possible, and to a point I'm still trying to do that. But what I will eventually do is then change tack and get the lid off and start to actually reduce it. Once I'm sure all those flavours have been absorbed, then I will take the lid off and move to reduction stage. I won't say it's not without trepidation, but it does smell good, and it does actually look pretty good. It smells good, and it looks good, and I'm really interested to see whether it tastes good. So whilst this has got, and I don't know whether you can see that down here, whilst it's got a 5 on it here, which means it should be able to be recycled. My local recycling here won't take it. That's more than you normally see on these types of bags. So they're telling you what sort of plastic it is, and there are lots of different sorts of plastic. I think there's 7. So there we go. This one is number 5, and if you put it up with other number 5s, that should be good. But I think, if this works for me, then perhaps the way to do this is to buy this stuff in bulk. I don't know. Like my tins of tomatoes, which are also essential. Fantastic. Same people, same guys. Essential trading. Shame about the plastic, but as I say, they do go into some detail about what they've done, why they've had to go back to this sort of packaging, and I really get the impression from them that the battle is not over for them to get this right. But in the meantime, it's a bit of a shame. I think that's good. I think it's going to work. But the acid test is when Kate gets here. Will Kate like it or will Kate not like it? This is the question, and we're going to film it so you can find out. One of the things I always like to do with spaghetti bolognese, and I know it's not traditional, if there are any Italians watching this, don't shoot me, but I always like to put in some fresh tomatoes right at the end. Just you know, I'm going to turn this off very, very shortly, and then I'm going to I'll reheat it when Kate gets here, and we'll be serving it up. But I'm going to put in some fresh tomatoes now, so they don't cook too much, so they're still, you know, they've still got a bit of crunch in them. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And the other thing I love about this, about spaghetti, about bolognese sauce is, you know, this will last. I'd be able to freeze this. This is lots of meals right here. But the other thing is, you know, when it gets cold, like it, you can actually steep down later and just, you know, have a little taste, you know, when it's cold from the fridge. There's something unique about that with bolognese sauce. It tastes delicious. It's really very good. But I'll put the full recipe and instructions in the description below. So if you want to redo this at home, then go ahead. But let's see what my girlfriend has to say when she gets here before you make that decision. I just think it's really so important that we all reduce our carbon footprint, and eating beef is a major contributor to global warming. We've got to find more plant-based diets. We have to, and if I can do this, then you can do this. I'm a salad dodger. I've never really sort of, you know, embraced vegetables. So if I can train myself to eat less meat and to have, you know, 1 or 2 days a week, which I do right now, where I don't eat meat at all, then you probably can too. And I'm trying to get better. It's a journey for me. And there we are. Stir those in. You know, when I heat that later, they'll still have a little bit of a crunch to them, and they'll still have a taste of their own when you bite into them, rather than being lost in the mix, as it were. So there we go. Wish me luck. Hello, what a surprise. Do come in. I hope you haven't eaten.
No, I haven't. I'm ravenous.
Excellent. Oh, do sit down. Do sit down. I'm cooking tonight. So, it's spaghetti bolognese, but it's with a twist. And I'm not going to tell you what the twist actually is.
Oh.
Okay. Let me go and get some. Would you like some parmesan?
Yes, please.
Jolly good. There's plenty more, by the way.
Excellent.
Should you want it? Say when.
Perhaps if you cover it over completely, that would be good.
So,
That's lovely, thank you.
you didn't say when.
When?
You got to say when.
Sorry, I didn't realise.
You know the rules.
Yes. You're very brave, eating spaghetti bolognese with a white shirt on.
And cooking. And cooking.
And cooking, yeah.
Yes.
Some pepper. Or you can do that as well.
No, you can do that.
You're not going to come in with an unfeasibly large pepper grinder and wave it about onto my nose.
I beg your pardon?
You're not going to come in with an unfeasibly large pepper grinder and wave it around under my nose.
No.
Well, this is very exciting.
Cheers.
Cheers. Lovely rich flavour. You've obviously put some nice stuff in here to complement it, which is the key. Lovely mellow richness to it. I can't say I prefer it to mince, but the texture of it is very good if you want a mince substitute.
Well, if you'd like to learn how to cook it, I'll be releasing a video.
Will you? Where can I find that?
On YouTube.
YouTube.
I kid you not.
Which channel?
WAPAAT.
WAPAAT.
Yeah.
Excellent. Are there other videos on there as well, Angus? That was much better than I expected. Honestly.
Yeah, honestly, for me it was as well. I thought
I was expecting cat litter in gravy.
it looked like it, didn't it? It really
Because
did
in the
look like it.
packet it looked like, Jesus Christ, cat litter.
Yeah.
And I thought you were going to beef it up. But whatever you did to it, it just really transpired to be fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you.
And had the consistency of mince, which I didn't
Well,
expect.
not quite. For me, it didn't quite. There was something missing. There was something about the texture that wasn't quite right for me.
And a bouncy factor.
But that's because I knew it wasn't beef, I guess.
Okay, well, I also knew it wasn't beef, so the bouncy factor was like there, but the back taste was missing. The feeling in the back of your tongue of mince was missing.
Okay.
But whatever you did to it,
Okay.
optimised it. It was really very good.
Thank you.
I wouldn't turn it down.
Brilliant. I wouldn't turn it down either.
Absolutely not.
We wouldn't turn it down.
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 Essential.
Angus, are you bringing those batteries?
I'll be up in a minute.